when Luis first burst onto the one scene, he had a style that was not too different from Joreuz, actually. Joreuz was the number one guy in the one scene when Luis first came around. Well, Joreuz was maybe number two when Luis first surfaced, because I think Khaled was still number one at that point, but Joreuz beat Khaled to take number one. Just around about the time that Luis was making a name for himself as a top 8 player in Europe. And yeah, I was one of the people who was pointing out that actually Luis' style is quite similar to Joreuz. Luis is a very, very aggressive player. He was a very aerial attack focused player, and his defensive strategy was pretty much to take as many risks as possible, to challenge as early as possible in order to keep himself attacking as much as possible. He just would not spend a lot of time in defense. His defensive style was essentially, well, I'm just going to go, and if I get the ball, I'm going to be in a good position. If not, my opponent's scoring, but I'd rather do that than sit in my net for seconds at a time hanging on to low boost positions. Now, since then, Luis has really, really grounded out his playstyle. He's become much more defensively sound and I think well-rounded, and that's what's enabled him to be a player who can, I think, contest with anybody now. And in this matchup today, I think both players are kind of going in as relative equals. I'm going to give Joreuz the edge because I think he's just hungry right now. He wants to prove to everybody that he is still that guy and that he's still got what it takes to be one of the best, if not the best, ones player. Yeah, Luis is very, very solid these days. Oh yeah, I spelled Joreuz's name wrong. Let me fix that. Thank you for telling me. Yeah, in many ways, these two have had similar ones developments as new moves become available to the ones players with improved mechanical ability being a thing. These two are some of the first to pick up on everything that's new. Now, I haven't seen anybody else except Dark picking up on pogo plays recently, but everything else, except from pogos, you can expect to see in a matchup like this. Absolutely everything. Big kickoff win there from Joreuz to put himself 2-1 up. That'll be a bit of an awkward one for Luis. He worked really hard for that last goal, but both players flip to the outside, and Luis loses the kickoff. I expect him to switch it. Yeah, he does. So he was definitely lining up to switch sides on the kickoff there, Luis. Joreuz half flipped, so one step ahead. Joreuz once again. Similarly to Atto in the previous match, Joreuz catching his opponent off guard with a half flip kickoff. And Luis is back to pushing the ball against Joreuz in the kickoff. Joreuz winning against that pretty consistently. I'd love to see Luis be the one to change up his kickoff strat. It's not working at the moment. Perfect demo from Joreuz. Luis just leaving himself a bit out of position on that one. Joreuz looks like he really wants to give his opponent absolutely no time at the moment. Much faster out of the gate than Luis, and still causing problems for the Spaniard on almost every kickoff that happens. Joreuz looking to set up an air dribble play here into the reset, into the top corner. Just perfection from Joreuz, and from Luis' POV, he's not going to really know what Joreuz is planning here. That very vertical takeoff, it looks like it could be perfect for an air dribble bump, and I think Luis is probably thinking that, so he just jumps up, doesn't want to have to sit back on the goal line and defend against that. Joreuz just immediately gets a reset, immediately uses it, and immediately scores. Yeah, I'll change the title as well. I just remembered Nightbot's bugged, so I have to do that. Thanks for keeping me reminded on these things, chat. Wow, Joreuz is just completely rinsing Luis right now. Luis' biggest issue, like I often say these days, is that he's not getting any kickoff wins. In fact, he's just going to leave that one completely open. He knows he's not getting back to it. He just can't beat Joreuz, whether he flips right, flips left. He just cannot get a win against Joreuz, who seems to know exactly what Luis is doing and just goes even further than Luis on every play. And that's another kickoff win for Joreuz. It's going to be 8-1. Luis has got to, I think, play for wave dash kickoffs or delayed kickoffs, because he's not close to Joreuz right now. with the standard kickoffs at all. He's just going to stay standard. I know Luis does know how to wave dash recovery kickoff, so I don't know why he's not going for it right now. It seems like it would be a perfect thing to do against someone who's just playing so well with their own game. You know, I'm starting to think that maybe he just wants to save it for the next game, and we might just get an FF in game number 1. Oh, hold on. Luis is 1-1. That's going to do something for his confidence. He didn't need to do anything different strategically there. He's way in front of the ball here with the reset. At least manages to get it behind Joreuz, but that was not the aerial control Luis wanted. Neither was this. Joreuz, sick of watching Luis air dribble the ball vertically, just shoots into the open net across the pitch. 10-1. You know, I said these two were going to be relatively evenly matched, but Joreuz has just been so clinical. Every time he gets the ball, he puts it on target and it's in. And whenever Luis gets a go again from the kickoff, he just can't get a read on what Joreuz is doing. This is getting ugly. It's been ugly for a while. Joreuz is just in free play right now. He's beating Luis to the ball every time. He beat Luis to the ball there before getting demoed. I think Luis probably at the moment is thinking, I need to warm up before I get into game number 2. There's no point forfeiting this. Joreuz looks like he's just ready to pick up where he left off. If we start game 2 right now, Luis is trying to get the hands warm. He's trying to get started with building of his own momentum. And credit to him, he started to win a couple of kickoffs, so he has figured out how to go a little bit more even with Joreuz in that regard. But that's just one aspect of the game. Going even with Joreuz in every other aspect, it's going to be a task and a half right now. I think Joreuz getting pretty angry by his recent losses, swept by Roas. Like you guys earlier mentioned, losing to Drally as well, and Drally's comeback show match, or one of them. Luis is going to get a mind game goal here. Oh no, he's not even going to get that. He is going to have to put it in, but that's something that historically has been one of the best things to try and do when you're getting crushed, is, you know, mind game your opponent or clip on them, because that's memorable if nothing else, and it makes your opponent think twice before lunging in on a challenge, going for a big dunk on you. Just anything that can get inside your opponent's head, that's what you want to be doing when you're getting destroyed like this. And Luis is starting to come back. You know, it's not completely over yet. If he can win kickoffs consistently, he's in with a chance. I don't think that's going to happen, but let's see if he can keep it up. Well, that's one. And he can get a quick shot into the net here. Pre-flips to pop it top corner. That's very creative from Luis. He wasn't far off perfectly executing that one. You know, he's still going for a win here. That early cut around makes sense if you're trying to catch your opponent out of position and score quickly. So even up to the last seconds here, Luis has been trying to score as many goals as he can, trying to make this scoreline look a bit more respectable. And I think with the few goals that he has had at the end of game number 1, he'll probably feel more confident going into game 2. He's got to look out for the demos. He's got to keep up the kickoff consistency. He has to play his game perfectly if he's going to match Joreuz today. Yeah, I was thinking about that actually. So I was talking earlier on about how the EU1 scene is really interesting now, because we've still got Joreuz and Moxie as you know, the names who have been dominant for a while. Drally's come back to the 1 scene as well. Atto just beat Raziers. Raziers obviously really top tier. But yeah, with CRR and Jack going to NA, it's made some space for other players in EU to get into the top 8 in the region. And now for NA, I mean, it's just ridiculously stacked, because you've got new players like Zapatos coming up. Raze Bulls continuing to be consistently brilliant. Chronic looks great. Lion Blaze looks like he's returned to form. There's a bunch of players in NA who have had either returned to form or recently come into the 1 scene and had success, as well as the old gods, you know, your First Killer, Daniel, AJ kind of players. And then, yeah, you get Jack and CRR as well, Yan as well. So, yeah, NA1s is really interesting, because you've got EU, South America, and NA, like all competing against each other on the same ping. Be a really interesting thing to see. You know, CRR, some kind of tournament. I'd love to maybe, we'll have to chat to Theorist. I think I saw him in chat there. We'll have to see if we can get something sorted where we can get an EU, SAM, NA, little 1v1 Showmatch series going, where we've got CRR and Jack up against Joreuz, Jan up against Daniel +1. I don't know who you'd put as number 2 NA right now with Lionblaze and Chronic recently beating AJ. I think you'd probably have to give Lionblaze a shout alongside Daniel. Yeah, that would be pretty hype. Because you've got in every iteration, well, there's a bunch of iterations of matchups there. You know, Jack versus Daniel, Jack versus Lionblaze, CRR versus Daniel, CRR versus Lionblaze. That's 4 matches EU versus NA. Then you've got 4 matches Sam versus EU, 4 matches Sam versus NA. So 12 different matches with just 6 players. See which region comes out on top. That would be a pretty cool thing to see. I mean, that's the first thing that came to my mind when I realized that all these different regions had 2 players now on the North American servers. We're going to disrespect KV1 like that? Well, KV1 doesn't play on NA servers. He plays on well, he does play on NA servers, but he doesn't play with low ping on NA servers. He plays with really, really high ping, which is in and of itself extremely impressive, but no doubt a massive disadvantage. What about Squishy? What about him, man? that's gotta be bait. Gotta be bait. Well, Joreuz is gonna pick up where he left off here and continue dominating Luis. I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing from him today. He looks ultra focused. He's been criticized recently of just not having that mental fortitude to really focus and grind out a one's win. You know, that happened against Raziers, where the matchup did at times become a bit ridiculous, and Joreuz was receiving criticism in the comments. A lot of people were coping, saying that if Joreuz focused up and just try-harded, he would win easily. I disagree. I think it's not easily. I don't think it's an easy win for anyone in the top 10 against anyone else in the top 10 in Europe right now. He definitely looks ultra focused today. It looks like he's got his head in the game and he wants a win. Joreuz, oh, you said Joreuz grinding GG's for everyone else. Yeah, could be GG's for everyone else. Oh dear. Oh no. It looks like he needs to grind the rookie save training pack, or rookie goalkeeper training pack a little bit more, because Luis completely missed his flick. Joreuz just jumped out of the way of the ball. Of course, he's expecting a top shelf flick there, but he did not prepare himself for the complete bronze flick. And now Luis has tied up the game. This is nowhere near the level of the last one. That save is fantastic though. Can Joreuz get back to it? He will. And he takes his time with the open net also. Have to get to Patos on at some point. Yeah, I've already talked to him. I definitely want to get him in for a show match. So Patos got a really interesting style. I was thinking about making a video about his wave dash recovery kickoff, because I saw Zapatos versus Lionblaze in Turf Wars. In fact, I was streaming a viewing party of that particular matchup, and I asked my Twitch chat, how do you counter Zapatos wave dash recovery kickoff? And all of my Twitch chat knew the answer. You just have to delay the kickoff. And then we saw Lionblaze prove it in that very same match. He started delaying his kickoff, so that's a perfect pinch. That's just in. Joreuz has nailed it. Well played. Luis not ready for that one. But yeah, you guys all knew, Lionblaze knew, and it really did show that the wave dash recovery kickoff is not a foolproof strategy. A lot of people think that, even a lot of very, very high level players think that it's just a completely foolproof strat, but it's not. If the other guy delays his kickoff or doesn't hit the ball, then you're kind of awkwardly jumping on the spot. You know, for the wave dash recovery kickoff to work to its fullest, you need the other guy to hit the ball so that the ball hits you and knocks you back down into the ground. If they don't hit the ball, then you're kind of just floating there, and you look a bit silly as you pop the ball towards your opponent, just so they can have it for free. Another perfect shot from Joreuz. He's there for the rebound. And you know, he needed to go into the bar with this one. Luis was pre-jumping into a save attempt. If that was any lower, I think Luis would have made contact. This is a frustrating matchup for Luis. He just feels helpless, I'm sure, in many of these moments. It's rare to see him so lost for what to do in a matchup against anybody. I think Luis, last match on my channel, he was losing 3-2 against Raziers, and that was a very, very back and forth, very close series. Everything he does right now is just getting countered by Joreuz, except 2 mile-an-hour flicks. He might need to go back to that a little bit more. Well played here by Luis, so just able to catch up with the ball as it runs across the goal. At this point, he just has to turn aggressively like this. He needs to be extremely quick to every ball. Jorelli hard counter Joreuz fake kickoff in FairJame. Did he dribble the ball to the back corner to hard counter it? Because as far as I'm aware, that is the only hard counter if the player half flipping plays correctly. But yeah, every single kickoff that you can do in 1v1 right now has got a counter strategy. Some of them are hard counters, some of them are soft counters. That's what really makes kickoff so interesting to me. I think Luis might have given himself a chance in this one. No, he can't get back to the ball, so he tried there to knock it into the sidewall and then beat Joreuz to it. But as you can see, if your opponent realizes that that's what you're doing, they can beat you to it. Great shot attempt there from Luis, but hasn't worked out, and he's pretty committed to this one. I think Joreuz has missed though. Oh, he just gets it to roll in. Well, that is fortunate. Did Joreuz bait Luis here with the quick chat? Did he know it was in? Oh no, he thought he missed. Yeah, from that angle, it really looks like he's missing. That would have been 300 IQ if Joreuz knew it was in, but he just types the quick chat to make Luis think it's a miss. So Luis goes for the boost instead of the ball. I don't think that's what Joreuz did though. I don't think that was big brain. I think he genuinely thought it was a miss because of the way that his camera lined up. But Luis absolutely has to score here. And he will. Another pretty ridiculous goal as Joreuz covers nothing. I don't know why he's going off the ceiling for this one, I'm going to be honest. That did not look like a ceiling challenge was necessary with the low air dribble, but Joreuz thought he could make it work. Now with 10 seconds left, he leads by just 1 goal. Still, kickoff goes his way. Lovely pre-flip onto the wall from Joe as he tries to keep Luis under pressure in the closing stages. Great high pop from Joreuz. Gets a demo onto Luis to rub salt in the wound and just lets it drop. That shows, I think, the mindset Joreuz has for this game today and this series. On another day, I'm pretty sure Joreuz would have kept that ball in the air with a 1-goal lead and tried to make it a 2-goal lead with an air dribble off the wall, but not today. He just plays for the win and gets the win. You know, there were a couple of... Well, I think that the failed save and the low flick from Joreuz was... I wouldn't call that trolling. I think that was probably just a mistake. He just wasn't expecting a flick of that caliber. As you can see, this is not really the way to counter it. Luis trying to pop the ball into the sidewall and beat Joreuz back to it. That's not how you do it. Got to get it into your back corner, or at least got to get it in your own half. Today's stream has been a real great salesman for the half flip kickoff in ones. I don't think anyone who's half flipped on the kickoff has lost the kickoff. Every single one of them has been a win. I think it was 5 out of 5 for Atto, and Joreuz is probably on at least 3, maybe 4. It's a great advertisement for the half flip kickoff in ones. It's a pretty simple strategy to understand, but the one thing to be very careful of if you are going to try and implement that in your own game is that you've got to know how to half flip in both directions. You need to know how to half flip slightly right, and you need to know how to half flip slightly left, because if you're half flipping in the wrong direction, the other player can, of course, just shoot into the open net away from the side you're half flipping towards. So you need to know how to half flip. In this case, where Joreuz is to the left, you're not going to see it on this one. Yeah, a lot of players, even high-rated players, only know how to half flip one way, which is a big disadvantage, not just in kickoffs, but pretty much anywhere that you want to half flip. You need to know how to do both to get the best landings and the best acceleration possible. Double reset for Luis. He had to use a ton of boost to get back to the ball though. Joreuz saw that and really took his time with his first touch. I think he kind of rushed the second one though, and it gets away from him. But he pops it into the air and now going for the double, which will work. Joreuz follows up a mistake with a very well executed double tap. A good idea there to just pop the ball off the back wall to himself as well. Key there from Joreuz was just noticing that Luis had to use all of his boost just to keep control of the ball. So that's a great bump. What a result for Joreuz. Luis missed his bump that he attempted. What a pre-flip from Joreuz. Oh, that's unbelievable. He finishes it off as well. Thank goodness for that, so we can watch it again on the replay. Ridiculous angle reset from Joreuz. Pre-flips into a recovery. And an outplay at the same time. And then slots the finish way, way, way off the wall. 2-1. If Joreuz can avoid silly defensive plays like the ceiling challenge that we saw at the end of last game, I think he's going to sweep Luis today. Luis has just really not had enough success with his aerial game. He's fortunate Joreuz didn't notice that he stopped in the net there, because a slow roll is definitely something Joreuz likes to do. Compact Train 5614, thanks to the Prime. Also, Linus Riedel, thank you for the 3-month Prime. Hopefully I said that right. Glad you're liking the content as well. And Ox804, thanks to the Prime. D Murphy Ford, thanks to the Prime. Jakey047, thanks to the 2-month Prime as well. Okay, has he got it? No, not quite. Okay, maybe. No, he still can't counter it. So yeah, even this attempt from Luis is not the counter. That's still, I think, Joreuz favoured. The reason it's Joreuz favoured is because he's the one who's able to first make a big play on the ball. He decided to go for a pinch shot. Could have been a goal. Even if it's not, he's at least had a chance. Look at that. Joreuz was on target with the sidewall double there. Very impressive redirect. Luis with one reset. Flips late and scores to tie the game. So it looks like Luis stocks are rising when it comes to aerial plays. Want to see more of that from him. Joreuz half flips once again. There's no real reason for Joreuz to stop half flipping on kickoffs here. He's had the possession on every single one of them. He gave it away there, but it wasn't because his strategy on the kickoff didn't work. It's not like it's a horrendous position for him after hitting the ball away anyway. He's still got ball pressure. Still got tons of momentum. And he's still denying Luis any real counter-attacking chances. Speaking of counter-attacks, there's one from Joreuz. Luis is going to be there to save it. And he does well to keep control of his own back corner boost here. End-to-end stuff here. Fast-paced game. Masterful positioning though from Joreuz. Realizing that Luis was about to let the ball roll. He did not panic. He did not flip. But demo from Luis sets up another full-pitch aerial play. A bit of a mind game on this one. Great placement as well. Top left for Luis, who's getting tricky with it. Again, he had to use a lot of boost to get back to the ball here, but Joreuz pre-jumped in the wrong area. Did not read what Luis had planned. So even if Luis' aerial control is not as perfect as it usually is, the tricks are still working out well for him. He's mixing up his offensive strats. That's a brilliant flick as well. You can see Joreuz did not read that one. Luis following up with yet another shot, and he's up by 2. What a turnaround. Luis back in the match. Can Joreuz come back now, or will we start to see his mentality crumble? No doubt he wanted the sweep here after he started off the match so strongly. And now Luis has got him in a very troublesome position. Joreuz has to dive off the inside of his own post. And his reward for that is not all that much, unless he can get the power shot. Yes, he can. Well struck by Joreuz. Luis had a boost advantage going into that 50-50. He thought surely the ball's going to bounce off somewhere I can get back to first, but Joreuz keeps control of the situation, manages to get the ball to roll out into the only spot that he can beat his opponent to and score a goal. Here comes Luis again, tries to lean back into the 50-50 with the reset attached. Didn't get it. Joreuz misses on his demo attempt. Luis was pretty side onto him there. Joreuz knows that's over, but he plays it anyway, willing to give Luis a free rebound. And what's Luis got from the back corner? Joreuz not respecting him there. Just lets him come at him. The boost has spawned. Luis will take it. Joreuz just wave dashing to try and keep up his momentum. Now he has actually clipped Luis there, just briefly. Luis gets back to the ball anyway. He's doing a great job here, just staying behind the ball, staying in control of the boost as he tries to work his way back into the series. Joreuz will have one last chance, and he'll take it in the closing seconds. Luis lunged. Luis did not make contact. You know, I don't entirely hate that strategy from Luis, but what a read by Joreuz. Luis faked the challenge and then turned immediately to go for a real one. And of course, it will be a fake kickoff for Joreuz. Now, Luis doesn't have boost here. This is actually fine for Joreuz. He might be able to take control here. In fact, his boost management hasn't been great either, but look at Luis' boost management. This is phenomenal. He's going to actually get shots off, and he scores it. Masterful from Luis. Did Joreuz miss the back corner booster? How was he on 20? I'm not actually sure what happened to him there. In fact, I kind of want to go clip the moment on my own channel. So I don't have time to watch the replay right now, but how did Joreuz only end up on 20 boost? Did he miss the back corner? I thought surely, when I said Luis didn't have boost, I meant that he wouldn't have the boost advantage. I think he did it. He got the mid boost. I'll have to look back at that one after this game is over, or after this series is over, because that is a very, very interesting play at the end of the game. Well played, Luis. He's not done yet, as he gets one game on the board. Did he waste it all on the wall? Wow. That is surprising. I really expected, as Luis completely tears up Joreuz' defense early on here, I really expected Joreuz to come away from that play with a boost advantage, because Luis was not coming at him quickly. He was coming at him pretty slowly there, so I expected Joreuz to just wait. Just be calm, just chill, because Luis hasn't got anything imminent coming towards him, and the fact that we're on a play that just has to hit the ground made it unlikely that we would, or you know, a play rather that Joreuz just has to get a 50-50 from, and he'll be away. I expected him to be quite happy just accepting the 50-50 challenge there. Look at this from Luis, who's carrying Joreuz away before taking control of the back corner boost. Yeah, in fact it was Luis who managed his boost exceptionally well, and Joreuz who squandered what could have been an advantage. Well played, Luis. Icy in a very, very dangerous position, staring down the sweep. Similarly to Razier's earlier on today. That's interesting from Luis, kind of pretending to turn. I don't know if Joreuz could see Luis turning there, but Luis tried to sideways wave dash to keep up momentum in the challenge and maybe threaten a real challenge at the end of all that. It's something that could work, you know, if your opponent sees you turning behind the ball, and then you just wave dash towards them sideways, you might be able to close distance in a position that they expect you to be faking a challenge in. A bit of a mistake there from Luis. Didn't keep the right line to pick up the back corner boost, but heavy shots will force Joreuz back and open up a position for the boost steal. Luis having a ton more success in the midfield at the moment. Starting to get a good read on his opponent. It took him a while, which is fair enough. Not many players can read Joreuz, even if you give them 10 games to learn against him. Look at the respect Luis had for Joreuz there, sitting in net as Joreuz tries yet another sidewall double, but was it wise? Probably not. Joreuz landing extremely far out of position there, and anything except a brilliant shot on target is going to put him out of position as Luis counterattacks on an open net. It's all falling apart here for Joreuz. Just completely underestimates how quickly a shooting position is going to open up for his opponent. This is the part of the match where Joreuz has to stabilize. Luis is starting to get comfortable. In fact, he is fully comfortable. He started last game, whereas earlier Joreuz was dominating and winning every single exchange. Now he's the one getting countered, but he saw that challenge coming. Similarly to the end of last game, he just spots Luis challenging early. I think when Luis is turning in these positions, Joreuz is always going to move the ball. He's not going to expect a fake challenge. So I'm not sure about that play that Luis has tried a few times now. It might be time to legitimately fake a few challenges from close range. Joreuz with the reset. Luis with the save. Reading Joreuz every step of the way there. Oh, Joreuz is going to be a bit annoyed that he didn't get a demo on that one. He saw sparks. Server says no. Contact was made. Zero boost Joreuz. Sitting in his own net, but he jumps over the demo very well. Couldn't get the angle off for the shot on what was an open net. This is exactly what Luis wants. So much time being wasted, and so many opportunities for him to learn more about Joreuz's game in the midfield here. But all it takes is one goal for Joreuz. This time Luis just sends it in Joreuz's half. Now I think when Joreuz is trying to read Luis challenges in his own back corner. No, he has missed that open net, hasn't he? He has! Joreuz with a complete open net miss. I was going to say that Luis challenges early in Joreuz's half are working quite well. It's only when he's doing it in his own half that Joreuz is reading them. I'll have to keep an eye on whether Joreuz has clocked onto that fact yet. As things stand, we have a 1-goal game. Joreuz wants a new server. It seems like he's lagging on this one. He's requested a new server for next game. If he loses this, of course he's only trailing by 1. Liking the back wall defense from Joreuz here. Earlier on he was going for ceiling challenges in these positions, but Luis is just air dribbling low at him, so it makes sense to sit on the back wall. And Joreuz does answer my previous question. Is he going to start reading the fact that Luis is lunging into challenges? First try on his own half. That was pretty much his own half on the halfway line. The answer is yes. Joreuz fades away from the 50-50 and gets it to bounce into the wall and then come right back to him. It's a great pinch from Joreuz. He did not want to be on the receiving end of an early air dribble there from Luis. He's going to get to see one up close now, but nothing that he won't be able to handle. Joreuz plays for the shot. Again, didn't want to just leave the ball for Luis to shoot or have a chance to take away from him. So Joreuz shoots, and now he's got another chance to make a big play happen. Luis lunges in, makes good contact. I think Joreuz was just looking at the possibility of a demo there. Again, he goes for it, but doesn't get it to work out. Tell you what, Luis has got a great position for himself. Joreuz has to take a wide line away from the ball just to get a few boost pads. Luis cuts him up again, and with just 26 seconds left, he leads, not for the first time, in Game 4. A big kickoff here for Luis would be huge. Of course, a big kickoff for either player would be huge, but the player trailing in the series would love to have control of the ball to hold on to this 1-goal lead. That's a sloppy shot from Joreuz, not an easy one to follow up. No boost to be stolen off the back of it. And Luis, after not having to make a save, puts himself up by 2. I don't think that shot selection was correct there from Joreuz. Going high to the far post, of course, is a good idea if the boost is up across the box. At that time, it was not. Luis just holds on to his lead and sends us into Game 5. We're going to change server as requested by Joreuz. The previous dominance that we saw from him is now but a distant memory. GG's. Luis sends us into the ace match. Hopefully it's going to be a good server for Joreuz. Of course, players can request new servers whenever they want during these series. No drama needed here. Wet puppy kisses. Thanks for the tier 1 sub. Really appreciate that. Now what has Joreuz got in store for us in this last game? He utterly dominated kickoff possessions in game number 1. Destroyed Luis by a significant scoreline. Game 2 was a little bit prettier, but still, most would say, a routine win for Joreuz up until the very closing stages. But since then, Luis has started to get a real good read on Joreuz's movement and started to counter him a lot earlier with his challenges. And whereas Joreuz was earlier running rings around him, now he's having a hard time getting past this wall at midfield that Luis has built. That's slippery from Joreuz. Great movement, fantastic recoveries, and the first goal goes to him. That was not an easy one to do. He had to really roll with the punches there, and he manages to pull it off. Bolsinho, thanks to the 3-month prime. Also, Anonymous gifting a sub to Stealth Moose. Thank you, Anonymous. Joreuz thought about the boost steal there, had to rapidly turn around after realizing Luis is threatening the quick shot on net. That was not far off. Joreuz getting a demo there. He'll take the ball quite gladly, but Luis takes it off him. It's a perfect first touch. Threatening the double. Look at the speed of Joreuz though, and he's going to play for the shot here. You know, he almost scored that. And I bet he wanted really badly. I bet he had to really hold back on getting up in the air and rebounding that, because no doubt you wanted to see that again on the replay. But Joreuz has to be calm in this moment. He only leads by 1, and now he doesn't lead at all. Did he push his advantage a bit too much and lose it in the process? Luis is just lingering and waiting in all of these positions for one slight mistake from Joreuz. That is all he needs, and he's gonna need to look hard for them because they've been few and far between. Joreuz up 2-1 with another kickoff goal. Now the half flip kickoff again for Joreuz, and he shows one way to control the ball masterfully if the opponent shoots directly at you. Reset from Joreuz as he makes a save. That gives him the wave dash to accelerate into the direct shot. Absolutely phenomenal by Joreuz there. Oh, thank you for 10 gifted, GHKSA99. If you did get randomly gifted a sub there, be sure to thank GH. You're too kind, my friend. You know Luis is going to come back here. These direct challenges are starting to work. I think Joreuz has just got to keep the ball moving. That was a bit greedy to get underneath this one a bit early. 2 telegraph from Joreuz. Did not threaten the floor pinch long enough for Luis to worry about it and have to stay back. Ginger Snap 11, thanks to the 9-month prime. Welcome back. Oh, big time dunk. Joreuz slams it in the top corner. I'm sorry, Luis, but we've got to see this one again from your POV. Yeah, no doubt Luis thought he had a good 50-50 on that one, but Joreuz completely read which way he's going to try and clear the ball towards. Did I make a prediction on this one, a scoreline prediction? I don't think I did, but I did say that these two would be extremely evenly matched. Oh my. Well, did Joreuz read the miss here, or was he just there in case? Either way, great finish as he failed the reset to the top corner. Wow, he did indeed read the potential miss from Luis. Absolutely placed that finishing touch as well. No luck involved. Joreuz tries to surprise Luis with an early challenge. Luis will not be so easily tricked as he just plays the ball into the back corner. Just all it took was a little touch there to get it past his opponent. Very surprised that Joreuz doesn't just half flip on every single diagonal spawn. I'm going to be honest with you guys, it's worked every time. Or at worst, he's given himself an even position. At best, he's given himself the ball for free. So when he's in a lead like this, I'm very, very confused as to why he doesn't just half flip every time. I know, of course, he wants to keep Luis guessing, but he's given Luis enough tries to try and figure it out, and Luis still hasn't. So clearly, Luis just isn't ready with his default kickoff strategy to adapt into the only counter strat to the half flip kickoff. Either way, Joreuz manages to predict an early Luis challenge there. I talked about this. Luis pretty much just going every time in Joreuz half. That time Joreuz saw it coming. Now Luis muscles him off the boost at mid. Up into the air early. No mind game available. Joreuz challenges goal side, plays the ball. Again, he challenges from goal side, playing the ball. Important thing to do against everyone in ones, but especially Luis, who's always threatening shots from every angle. With just less than 2 minutes left, Joreuz extends the lead up to 4. Is Luis S tier for me? No, Luis would be A tier, I'd say. And he's been, and that's another big win for Joreuz in the half flip kickoff. Luis fully committed. No, he did enough for the shot there. Joreuz miss-hit the save into the ground. If Joreuz played that correctly, he would have had full boost and possession on the counter-attack. Instead, he's lost control of the ball, and Luis manages to score past him. Let's take a look at what Luis had planned here, because he did land a late reset on it. I don't think it would have made sense to flip into that one, so really well played there by Luis, just letting the underside of his own car slow the shot down, drop it underneath the pre-jump of Joreuz. Luis decides to go infield instead of up the wall. Pops it high, first try. And I think he's finished it off. Indeed he has. Joreuz nowhere near. What a play by Luis. He managed to get the ball past Joreuz. And do you see how he leaned back there? He just air rolled forward to dodge the bump. He did not want to be on the receiving end of a big bump there, just in case he got sent flying. Now, whether or not that was a delayed kickoff or a mistake by Joreuz, it has led to a Luis possession play. Joreuz doesn't get a good 50-50. It's more Luis play in midfield. Joreuz lands well, and he will challenge immediately and surely put himself up by 3 again. And that's the difference between forcing your opponent into their net and forcing them onto the back wall. Joreuz staying right on top of Luis there. Luis could not keep control, and he's got a lot of work to do once again. I think he's got to play this. No, he can't even get there. One more time, Joreuz wins with the half-flip kickoff. It looks like Luis' standard kickoff, his default kickoff that he always goes to, is just not something that's ready to quickly adapt and counter what Joreuz is doing here. Joreuz tries a double reset. Luis not too bothered by it. He's going to walk that one into the open net. It looked like Joreuz might be able to score from that one sometimes, but even for a player of his standards, I don't think that's a safe shot to be going for. Definitely not a necessary shot to be going for when he leads by 3 inside the final minute. Can Luis keep possession plays working for him? He says he needs to discipline his way out of freestyler Joreuz. I couldn't agree more. That was not necessary, and he'll know it. He could have just put the ball on target and then stolen the boost and defended midfield, maybe even got control of the ball again. But he's still in a very advantageous position. Luis tries to pass to himself off the corner while Joreuz is there. Luis has to go for this. Off the wall, into a reset, early flip. Joreuz there with him the entire time. Masterful defense from Joreuz. He had every angle covered there, had a flip for as long as he wanted as he came off the ceiling, and that's going to be game, set, match. As we saw one overextension from Joreuz towards the end of the game, but no more than that. The remaining 40 seconds closed out calmly, and Luis' comeback has been squandered. Great attempt by the Spaniard there. He made it a really competitive series in the closing stages.